true for you. Okay. Now, just like each of us has a dominant sense, some of us are more touchy-feely, some of us are more visual and will remember visual things, some of us are more auditory and we hear. Some people have a better sense of taste or smell. And I just thought of like being an ice cream taster for Ben and Jerry's, or assessing a really good wine, right? So we all have these dominant capacities, and these play out in our intuition as well. And just because you may be an auditory person when it comes to remembering things, like you'll remember what you heard, or you have a really good ear for songs or whatnot, that doesn't necessarily mean you get your intuitive information in an auditory way. It may, but it also may not. But each of us sort of has a dominant intuitive sense. So that may be you just know not to trust that person, right? Or you get a bad feeling, right? A feeling. Or you hear this little voice that says, watch out here. Or you see some sort of visual, right? And so these senses sort of play out in our emotional receiving. So if you've heard someone say, well, you just feel whether something's light or heavy and go with the light thing, that may not actually be your way of receiving intuitive information, even though it may be theirs. All right. So everywhere you've made yourself wrong for not being able to know or trust your intuition, will you just take all of those points of view, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and just collapse them back to free-flowing energy? Yeah. Woo, it feels better already. And you just do that simply by asking, right? It's an ask and receive process. So the channeled writing is a beautiful way of integrating a lot of things. It's maybe receiving information that you hear. It's definitely feeling it by writing it out, and seeing it when you're looking at what you've just written or as you write it. Okay. And this is something that I've found to be a really powerful practice when you wake up in the morning, before you check email, before, right? Like when we start to let other people and their messages, texts, emails, social media sort of impact our state of being, it takes us out of this refreshed or dull. Sometimes we feel dull when we wake up. But this space of mind that emerges just after sleep. Okay. And so it puts us in a different brainwave state to read people's texts and have stress because you realize you didn't communicate with something, or somebody or oh yes, later today you have that meeting, and blah blah blah. Starting to write before you have all those things impact you is powerful for letting your own wisdom guide you. And I like to kind of rest and take some really slow, deep breaths and get centered before I do the writing. And I tend to end up doing like 3 pages, sort of like the book The Artist's Way suggests, for weeks and weeks. Each morning it suggests, write 3 pages without censoring, without processing, without editing, just writing.